Good afternoon, friends. Today is February 10th, Sunday. I'm recording ABC Bullish Patterns for this week, which is starting on February 11th, Monday. So let's just first start looking at composites, which is NASDAQ. It has, ABC bullish pattern right in the middle of November. Since then, I guess it is, it pretty much went up to its first target zone, which is a 3101 to 3180, and I guess it seems like the markets are in a pretty good stretch to go forward, seems like. And so I guess there is the next resistance is 3281. So the same way, let's look at the S&P. S&P has a similar pattern, same type of a signal, ABC bullish pattern, and it has actually completed its first target zone above 1506 and 1509. And I was expecting a retracement, and so did a lot of other analysts, seems like, but nothing really happened so far. It doesn't mean that we do not get any retracement, but I do think that there's sometimes markets overshoot it and then they come back and retrade it back. But at this point, it seems like there's no signs of it yet. So I guess if it does continue, I will be looking for the next resistance at 1551, 55. That's about 162 percent of AB and BC ranges, and that will be the next cluster. So now let's look at gold. Gold, I think it really is great to wait for a trigger to complete. So far, gold has been traded many times over 200 period moving average, and now it's actually trading below 200 period moving average. So I guess it's pretty much oscillating this. So what we will do is we'll wait for a clear signal about this EL, which is it needs to close about 1692. Then I would think that would be a buy signal. At that time, if it does trigger it, I think my targets would be 1791 to 1835. Now let's look at QM. QM. Here, this is the oil ABC bullish pattern, and I've been trading this using USO options. I'm still waiting for it to hit this 98.8 and 102.65, and that's where the target would be. And so I guess USO has a similar setup, OIL has a similar setup. So if you look at some of the stocks like the CVX also has the same type of setup. So now let's look at first is there Altera. This is the one which I posted some time ago in on the videos. This has a double bottom pattern, and it is now trading above 200 period moving average and also the mid fib band. On Friday, it actually traded over $1 at one point, and then now it's actually comfortably reaching its 35 to 36 and a half at target zone. Next one is the Brocade. Brocade has a earnings scheduled this week on February 14th. So what I'm waiting for it is it has an ABC bullish pattern above 200 period moving average too. So it's I guess based on the earnings what will happen, but I am expecting its targets to reach between 6.5 to $7. Next is the Broadcom. Broadcom, I actually traded this before, and I think right after its earnings, it started falling. And on Friday, it did show some strength, so I do not have any position as of now. But I will wait and see if it really trades and closes above this 33.55, which is a 200 period moving average, and then if also the mid fib band at that time, I will try to take a position and then probably read it for at least for the first targets are between 35 and 36 and a half. Next is Cirrus. Cirrus has a double bottom pattern, and I guess it's kind of correlates its stock with the Apple. So right now, I guess in Apple also kind of a strength, and I don't have any position in Apple. But this one, I'm waiting for it to see if it actually triggers any kind of a rally above this $29. So next is Cisco. Cisco, I have traded it, and currently I do not have a position because I actually closed my entire of trade when it reached this first target zone between 19 and 20 and a half, and then since then, of course, it's traded above it, and it is looks like it's going to continue its higher. So the next target, the secondary targets we look at it is a 22.75 and $24. So that would be the next target zone if the markets continue to push up. So I think that would be the next targets. Next is the constar, and this is a pretty good lesson too. Here, I think I've posted this quite a few days, I think, and this has what I call is an inverse head and shoulder pattern forming. So I guess if you wanted to trade inverse head and shoulder patterns, you must wait for the price to close about that neckline, which is just about like 54, 54 and 20. And so the last time it actually traded very close to it is it also intersected with this 200 period moving average, and then it actually bounced back. And then on Friday, they didn't meet their earnings, so because of that, it actually fell about almost $4. So now I'm actually waiting for it to actually, if it only crosses about this neckline, then it will be trade. Otherwise, we do not want to take the inverse head and shoulder patterns yet. It's the same thing with the head and shoulders also. Now let's look at the Deckers. This one I do have positions, and the Deckers is their earnings is Thursday, February 21st. So it is now just close above the 200 period moving average, and also in the first target zone, which is 43.66 and $46. So that's my first target zone, and then if it really meets its earnings, I think it will also move up. But I think I am actually inclined to take the partial positions in this first target zone, and then wait for the next targets to reach. Now let's look at this another one, First Solar. First Solar is, it is actually, if you look at this chart, it at one point, I guess, the stock traded, if I'm not wrong, it traded close to $300 in 2010 and 2011. But since then, I think most of the solar sector stocks really fell big time. I guess, this one is not an exception either. I traded, just about like $11, $11.50 just in 2012, I guess sometime in May or June timeframe. So now it's kind of showing its strength, but I do want this ABC to come and trade it. Right now, it's only retraced 33%. That's what the C level is at this point. This is not an ABC for me. It's the way how I trade it is. This is just a flag. So I do want at least a 50% or close to 50% a minimum of a retracement before I take the trade. So I'll be looking forward to seeing this First Solar, how it reacts to it, and if it does come to this anywhere near this $21 and $22 price range, and that's when I'll be looking for it. Let's look at General Dynamics, GD. GD is showing this is not a perfect ABC pattern, but this is actually now it's triggered over the EL and also the 200 period moving average. So now I'm considering it to get into this trade. So the first targets would be 71 and 73, and also the General Dynamics, the earnings are like not until April 24th. The next one is the GE. GE one, I think I posted a few sessions ago. Here, what I'm looking for it is the target zone is between $23 and $24. It has I guess it also came in ABC sometime in mid-November, but now it's actually showing its kind of strength, and I think I'm hoping that it will get to $23 and $24. So next is let's look at Garmin. Garmin's earnings are coming up February 20th, which is about 10 days from now. So right now it's kind of showing a strength, although it didn't close above the EL, which is 38.50. So that's what I'll be looking for it. And then the first target would be $42 and $43. And also, I guess let's keep in mind that February 20th is its earnings. Then next is IMAX. IMAX, I have posted this a couple of times in the last 2 weeks. So since then, I guess it is right now traded at close to $25. So it already traded above its first target zone, which is between 23 and a half and 24 and a half. And so the next target zone will be 26 and 26 and 80 and 28 and a half. Okay, next look at the Intel. And this is what I call is a perfect bullish pattern. It's forming. So there is no trigger yet, but it's really absolutely perfect. In a sense, is the retracement is, look at this. The C retracement is something like 61.6. That itself kind of tells me that, if it's going to hold this level, this probably will complete its perfect bullish pattern. So the trigger is about 21 and a quarter, and then if it does, then I guess the first target zone will be 23 and at 23. 0.7. The Intel's earnings are not until April 16th. Okay. Now let's look at Nordstrom. Nordstrom is the stock which I was looking at it too, and this Nordstrom's earnings are also coming out with a lot of these retail clothing stocks, which is just about like a February 20th time frame, all of them, and so February 21st is this Nordstrom's earnings. So now here I think the target zone is between 58 and 60, 58 and a half and 60.5, and that would be the first targets for Nordstrom. LinkedIn, I wish I had traded this, and I have posted this a couple of times, but I kind of hesitated because there's lots of these companies during that time didn't do that well, but they did have a pretty good earnings on Thursday. LinkedIn went up by almost $25, $27 on Friday. So right now I guess it is now trading in the secondary target zone, which is a between 142 and 160. $155. That would be its second target, and the first target is of course in a way past, which is 117 and 124. And now let's look at this MNST, which is a Monster Energy. This one also I've been posting it for a while. This earnings are also due on February 21, and this is something like a relatively it is actually a perfect pattern too, perfect bullish pattern. Only thing is we definitely need to wait for this trigger to happen. That means it needs to trade above 51 before we consider it for a trade. So if you do take the trade at about 51, then the targets would be about 56 and a half and 59 and a half. Next one is this is Altria, actually the Philip Morris stock, and here the trigger is at say 31.55, and then now it is trading at 100% of its range, 34.90. On Thursday it had a pretty long range, so a wide range stock, a wide range trade, and I guess next levels would be would be 36 and 37 and a half. Next one is Nvidia. Nvidia is also it's not completely perfect yet because it didn't reach it's like about 61 price range, 61.2 retracement, but it is now trading about this EL level about 12 and a quarter, and its earnings are due on February 13th. That's Wednesday this week. So I guess we'll be waiting for it to see how that will come out. And the next one is this is a silver stock which I'm monitoring it because if silver also SLV also has a similar type of setup. So I guess if SLV triggers, if it does go back and retrade about this 1861, I'll be looking for it, and also I guess I'll be looking at SLV and the DLD trades also. If you do take a trade about 1861, I think the first targets would be 23 and 24. Since this ABC is almost like 6 months ago, I guess your cycle probably should be between 4 to 6 months. So here on pass, we will be looking for I guess a trade above 1861. If it does get it to does trigger that price, then I think the targets will be 23 and 24 and half. Let's look at the next one is Ralph Lauren. I posted this stock I guess at least a week ago, and here it is now trading completely above it, and completely above its first target zone. So the next target zone would be between 183 and $194, and Ralph Lauren earnings are due on May 21st. Let's look at another one, which is a sprayer. This one I was looking at it and I really didn't take a position. I wish I did. Here, the reason is because it's only traded about just about 50% of it, and I was expecting it to come down a little further, about 61%. So then I thought that then I would take a trade. But I guess now it's actually already traded above its mid band. The price is, I guess, their earnings are also due February 14th. So I'll be waiting and seeing if it gives me another opportunity next week. Let's look at Target. Target earnings are also due end of this month. That's February 27th. And so here I'm looking for its target to be getting to this about between 64 and 66 and a half. And the last stock I want to show you is a Xilinx. And here is Xilinx, and I have been trading this for quite a few weeks. I guess the Xilinx earnings are due April 24th, but I think my targets would be between $39 and $41 on Xilinx. All right, guys, thank you, and I will try to post on Monday and Tuesday too.